Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Good morning, everybody. Oh. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
You can hear me okay, Kim?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Beautiful. How are you today, Andy? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, she is good. Thank you.
Good, good, good. And Elena, welcome. How are you today?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, all good. Thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Okay, I'm going to get straight to work today. So today is the essay writing class, and what we'll be working on is the conclusion. And there's two grammatical structures that we need to master for the conclusion. So before we begin, let's just warm up a little bit. And just looks like my camera's okay, back in focus. Okay, so we all know that there are 4 types of essay questions. Can you please tell me what they are, Elena? 5, actually.
So you've got advantages, disadvantages.
Correct.
Agree, disagree.
Correct.
Discussion.
Correct.
Then problem solution.
Well done.
And the last one.
Causes and effects.
Yes, yeah.
Beautiful. Well done. So the 5 different types of questions, and we can have what we call a hybrid, a combination of 2, 3, and I have actually seen once before a combination of 4. Okay, we all know that we need for our essays an introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion. And we may or may not know that one of these essays is unbalanced and the rest of the essays are what we call balanced. Which one is unbalanced? No problem. Okay, so the advantages and disadvantages is balanced, which means 2 advantages, 2 disadvantages, balanced. Okay, discussion is balanced. Discuss A, discuss B, so it's balanced. Problems and solutions can also be balanced, so 2 problems and 2 solutions. Causes and effects can also be balanced, 2 causes and 2 effects. So the one that's left, the unbalanced one, is which one?
Advantage and disadvantage.
Argumentative. Good try. 10 points for trying. Argumentative. So that means that you have to argue one side or the other. So that one is what we call unbalanced. So it's just that one there. The only other, am I talking too fast? Is that a nice pace? Would you like me to slow down a little bit? Don't be shy. Nice pace?
I think so. It's fine.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So if you do need me to slow down and you're a little bit shy to ask, you can just put it in the chat box and nobody will know. Okay. So argumentative is unbalanced. And the only other one can be the advantages and disadvantages when they use the word outweigh. So if they say, do the advantages outweigh, then you need to take a side. You need to say, yes, they outweigh, or no, they don't outweigh. Clear? Okay, so we're warming up. We also know that there are 4 types of marking criteria when it comes to your English, not just IELTS, but in English in general. There are 4 windows, things, elements that need to improve. So most people think it's just English is grammar, and we know now that it's totally not grammar. There's a lot of there's 4 different parts, and in fact in those parts there are subparts as well. But the 4 different parts are, Andy, could you please tell me what the 4 different marking criteria are?
The 4 criteria for what? Sorry.
For a good essay.
Read and analyze.
Okay, maybe you didn't catch this one, but that's okay. Kritika, could you tell us the 4 different marking criteria?
Grammar.
Grammar. So you must have good grammar. Yes. Vocabulary. So we call it lexical resource.
Lexical resource.
Is just a fancy word for vocab. Yes. CC. Coherency.
Coherence.
And cohesion, how we connect our ideas.
Connect our ideas.
Beautiful. And the last one, which I think is what Andy was trying to express herself. The last one is?
Task response.
Correct. Task response. Have I read the question? Have I understood the question? And have I answered the question? Very, very important, this one. The reason, obvious reasons, but if you look at, well, if you have some free time and you're that interested. But if you look at the research behind the IELTS marking criteria, you'll see that, you know, traditionally, a lot of students from China would memorize an essay, just a full essay, and didn't matter what the question was, they would throw that in the IELTS exam. So that task response really takes care of that. And when you look at the research, it will black every word that looks like a memorized phrase. And so really the examiner is marking about 30%, because, you know, 70% of it was very obviously memorized. And then they analyzed what countries do it the most, and it was, you know, South Korea, China, so that the Asian students are trained that way to learn. But that's changing, of course, thank goodness. So the 4 marking criteria, again, please, young Andy.
Task response, coherence and cohesion.
Good.
Grammar,
Yes.
no, physical resource and
Yes.
grammar.
That's fine. Absolutely fine. Beautiful. So the 4 areas. And so if our target is 7, we need to have 7 for this, 7 all across the board. Okay. There is sometimes when you get the IELTS results, you will see a score like this, but when the examiners are marking, there's nothing like this. It's just maybe like this. So they make a decision. Is this a 7 or a 6? Is this window a 7 or a 6? And then equals, you know, 6.5. So they never sit in the middle. They make a very clear-cut decision. So my job is to make sure that when they make that clear-cut decision, you're on that side, on the upper side. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, moving on. So as I said, today's focus is on conclusions, and in particular, 2 grammatical structures which we're going to work on. And one is although, and the second one is passive. Is the screen okay? Oh, should I be spotlighting myself maybe, I think?
A little, yeah.
Sorry. I think that's better, is it?
Yeah.
Makes bigger. I don't know. Sorry. Okay. I'll get better at that. Conclusions and 2 grammatical structures, although and passive voice. So before we get to conclusions, actually, no, let's jump right in. Okay, I'll wipe this one off. Oops. Okay. All right. So I'll start with a simple example. So actually, let me just put it a bit better. Actually, before I go there, 4 types of sentences in English. Jem, do you remember what the 4 types of sentences are?
I don't know actually what we're talking about. It's 4 different sentences.
In grammar, in English grammar. So we have 4 types of sentences in English grammar. And when I tell you, you'll go, oh, that's right. The first one is
Simple
simple.
sentence.
Yeah. The second one is
Compound.
Complex.
compound.
Complex.
That's it. Well
Then
done.
compound and
Okay.
complex.
Beautiful. Good.
Yeah, no, I
It's been a long weekend. It's okay. And this is why I repeat things as well. So you'll notice that my teaching style may seem very repetitive, and the reason is I'm repeating what's important. So I'm not interested in teaching you 20 different grammatical structures if we can't use them in our essay. So my target is just the essays, just the grammar that we need to get a 7 or 8, vocab for 8. Beautiful. So Jem, one more time, the 4 types of sentences in English, please.
Simple, compound, complex. Other one?
Is a combination of these two together, a compound,
compound
complex.
and complex.
Beautiful,
Okay.
beautiful, good. And so a good writer, and what you have to do in your exam is show a variety of all of them, okay? If we write everything simple, what happens to our essay? It's boring, okay? If we write everything compound, complex, what happens to our essay? You can guess.
Little bit boring, maybe.
It's repetitive, but it's also confusing. You know, nobody likes to read a big, not even. So the best writers in the world will use a range of all 4. Okay, so coming back to what we're teaching today. Now, Jem, could you read the example on the board for me, please?
It's raining, I will go to the beach.
Beautiful. So this sentence here, what type of sentence is this one?
Simple.
Simple, good. It has a subject. What is the subject?
Is weather, it's.
It, well done, good. So the subject, it has a verb, and then of course, sometimes an adjective or an object. In this case, it's a adjective, but we'll just put the object there. So the object of the verb is an adjective. So SVO is our simple sentences. Okay, Jim, could you read this one, please?
I will go to the beach.
Good. What's the where's the verb? What's the verb of the sentence?
Go.
Go. Beautiful. So what's the subject? The subject is always before the verb. What's the subject? Or who?
I.
Beautiful. Good. And then we have a modal verb. So this is what we call a helping verb. Okay. It changes it changes the percentage. So 100, 20, 90. That's okay. SV, go where? And then we have the object. So we have SVO plus SVO. Okay, so simple plus simple. Now we know that when we make compound sentences, and this has been a while ago as well, so I probably don't expect you all to remember it, but the second one was compound. We can join 2 sentences together with as Bob. Can anyone remember as Bob? I know it was a while ago.
And so, because.
Or.
But.
Well done. Well done. And so, but, or, because. So with this one, which one will we use to join the 2 sentences together? And, so, but, or, because. Which one do we want to use?
But.
It's
Well
raining.
done. Yeah, good. But, all right. So it is raining, but I'll go to the beach. Okay, now question number 2. What's more important, number 1 or number 2? What has the main meaning in it? The heavy
Number
meaning?
2.
Number
It's
2.
more important.
Beautiful. Good. Number 2. So this is a compound sentence, but we're going to change it into a complex sentence because we want to have a variety of sentences. So but change into complex can be replaced with although, which you probably know that, but it's always good to go over these things. Where does although go? At the beginning, middle, or end?
At the beginning.
At the beginning. Okay, so we put it here. Although, and we get rid of the but. Now can you read it for me, please, Andy?
Although it's raining, I will go to the beach.
Beautiful. Now we have to change the comma, the full stop to a comma. Again, could you read it for me one more time?
Although it is raining, I will go to the beach.
Beautiful. Good. And part 2 is our best friend. Okay. Okay, so write this down for me. Some of you can probably just do it off the top of your head, but let's write this down. Okay. She was not feeling well. Maybe if I can get the cameras on just now so I can see, so I can help with my pace to see if you've written it or not. That's so I can see if you're writing. Thank you. So write this down. Thank you, everybody. She was not feeling well. Thank you. A second sentence, she went to work. She went to work. Okay, example number 2. There are advantages to public transport. There are advantages to public transport. Next sentence. It also has disadvantages. It also has disadvantages. Example number 3. Thanks, Jason. Thank you. Example number 3. There are over 30 girls in the program. There are over 30 girls in the program. Thank you. And the next sentence is, the boys still outnumber the girls. The boys still outnumber. Outnumber. Don't worry about spelling, just write it down. Outnumber the girls. Example number 4. The cost of transportation. This week's topic is transport. The cost of transportation has increased. Has increased. A lot of families still prefer to use private cars. A lot of families still prefer to use private cars. Okay. So what you need to do there, it's probably pretty obvious, but she was not feeling well. She went to work. So we have to change 4 things. We have to add although. We have to make the S a small s. Yep. We have to put a comma and then we have to make this a small. Although she was not feeling well, she went to work. Okay, now that makes it a complex sentence. Could you do the last 3 for me, please? The next 3 for me, please. And then if you're finished, when you're finished, I'm going to write a few more, just the start of the sentence, and I'll get you to finish the sentences. So I'll just put the first half. Jem, just your capitals. You need to put a capital at the beginning of your sentence, but it's perfect. Just one thing to remember as well, that they're opposites. So, although travel provides immense personal value, it's a positive. So the second part of your sentence should be a negative. Just something to think about. Can I have a time check? 3 more minutes, 2 more minutes, 1 more minute? Done?
Do you want to write in the chat?
No, no, just on a piece of paper. Yep.
All right.
Does anybody need help? Are you stuck? Is anybody stuck? Just need some time to concentrate. Okay. Shall we say 3 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right, everybody, just finish up where you're at. Okay. Jace, would you like to do number 1 for us, please?
Okay, I did number 1. Although travel provides immense personal value, high investment is required to fulfill the needs.
Did you say there? To
fulfill the needs?
Okay, so yeah, instead of there, what you would say there is one's needs.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a nice
One's
sentence. Yeah, because it's
Okay.
on a personal level.
Okay.
But that makes a lot of sense. Yep.
Okay.
Jem, did you like to do number 2?
Yes. Although the internet has changed how we book travel, there is still a need to communicate with people to solve some issues on your trip.
Could you say the rest of it? To communicate with people?
To solve some
Yep.
issues on your trip.
Sorry. Issues on your trip. Okay. Yep. Instead of it, you would say there. There is still a need to communicate with people. Instead of people, what kind of people are we talking about?
It's like customer service sites.
Correct. Yeah. And what do we call the person who we talk to about our travel? Do you know the name of that one?
Agency?
Yeah. Travel agency.
Agency.
Correct. Yeah. Travel agents. Travel agent is the person and agency is the company. So with the travel agents or the travel agent, that's fine. To solve some, now don't use the word some, just get rid of that. Yeah. Because we don't, it's not doing anything. To solve issues on your trip. Okay. So this is a preposition on. This one implies that during your trip, when you're on your trip, you have an issue. If it's before you go, then you would say issues about. But if it's when you're on the trip, on is fine. Which one do you think you might mean? On or about?
Actually,
Didn't think about it.
because just after purchase something, you might have some issues during your travel. You still need to contact agency, and there might be some accommodation issues, something.
Okay, and in that case, on is absolutely right. So could you read that one for me again, now that it's corrected?
Okay. Although the internet has changed how we book travel, there is still a need to communicate with a travel agency, communicate with travel agency.
Yep.
To solve some issues on your trip.
Good, to solve issues on your trip. Beautiful. Well done. And Kritika, number 3, please.
I'm a bit stuck with number 3. Can I do number 4?
You can. Elena, could you help her out with number 3, please?
Yes, sure. I will try. Although the future growth of travels require greater investment, people also must think about its side effects to prevent the environmental pollution.
Okay. Yep. So people also must think about, okay. So this bit here, the side effects to prevent pollution. When we write, we want to make a big meaning in as little words as possible. So what you would say, instead of the side effects to prevent environmental pollution, we would just call that negative environmental ramifications is the word I'd like you all to use instead of effects from today on. So ramifications means effects, negative, like you've said, you know, the side effects, and then environment pollution. Okay, so people also must think about the negative environmental ramifications, and that would be beautiful, beautiful sentence. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes.
The
Yes.
one I like about this as well is you can also have positive, and you can also have economical, political, educational. So this is really nice. The word ramification is very useful because you can put it to mean a whole. You can change the adjectives and make it very precise and accurate depending on the topic, whether you're going positive, negative. You can have long-term, short-term, but only have two adjectives. I taught that to a student once and they came back with, you know, we cannot ignore the long-term negative environmental sustainable ramification. So it can go too long. So just two adjectives there. Okay. That I will repeat a few more times in the coming weeks. So don't worry too much about that. That's good. All right. Number 4, Kritika.
Although the pandemic has decimated international travel, still we can hope to travel in the next coming years.
Yep. Okay. So I'll just want to, everybody, decimated. What does that word mean?
Like decrease.
Decrease.
It's even stronger than that. So it's basically, you know, to kill. So it's
okay.
a really strong one. So that, just be careful when you use that one that you do mean wipe out, decimate. But again, that's a lovely, you know, band 7 in the nice sentence 8 vocabulary. So decimated. And what's the other word for effects?
Ramifications.
Good, ramifications. And then kill, what's the other word for kill?
Decimated.
Decimated. So the way you can think about that, like I don't, do you know a decimal point is a little dot? So if we think about a decimal point being like a bomb and it just, you know, the decimal drops and it just explodes and kills everything in its wake. So decimal, decimated, that's how I remember that one. This one here for effects, if you know what a ram is, do you guys know what a ram is? So it's like a sheep, but it has the big hook. Aries, is anyone here an Aries? Yeah, so Aries has the ram as their star sign. So they're very forward and very, you know, very strong-minded. So if I think of ram, you know, and the ram sort of, you know, making a big impact and the effects there. So ramifications, just a little trigger to remember. So what's our new vocabulary for kill or destroy?
Decimated.
Good. And what's our one for effects?
Ramifications.
Beautiful. Good. Now coming back to number 4, please. Kritika, sorry, again.
Although the pandemic has decimated international travel, still we can hope to travel in the next coming years.
Yeah. So, okay. Still we can hope to travel in the next coming years. Now, again, you know, I understand 150% what Kritika is saying, but as a native, would I say it that way? And the answer is no. So when you want to get to your 7s, 8s, and 9s, you not only have to learn a lot of vocabulary, but you have to learn to express it in a native-like way. So what I would say is, well, first of all, when it comes to IELTS, we don't want to use pronouns, and we want to use topic-related vocabulary. So when it comes to vocab, so you've got lexical resource, which is your vocabulary. There's two parts. There's your academic vocab, which you're being marked on, and then you're getting marked on your topical vocab or your topic vocab. Okay, so academic vocab is ramifications, decimated, because we could use that in a lot of different essays. It's not related to our topic. Our topic this week is what? And I didn't make it absolutely clear, but can anyone guess what our topic is? Travel. Okay, so if we're talking about travel, just like I said here, you know, we don't talk about people, we talk about travel agents. Here, what kind of people are we talking about?
Travelers.
Yeah, travelers. Yeah, travelers. So travelers, still travelers can hope to travel in the next coming years. And in the next coming years, I wouldn't say that. I would say in the foreseeable future, which equals the next coming years. I can see, 3, 4, 5 years. I might not be able to see my 60s and 70s, but I can see the foreseeable future. So foreseeable. How do I spell foreseeable, please? Kritika.
FORE
Yep.
SEABLE.
Good. SEE.
Okay.
C. Yeah, foreseeable future. In the foreseeable. Still travelers can hope to travel in the foreseeable future. Okay, can you read that out for me with the corrections, please?
Although the pandemic has decimated international travel, still travelers can hope to travel in the foreseeable future.
Good. And do you think, for me, that sounds, 100% better. What about you, Kritika? Does that feel better?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sentence. So what I'm happy with is that your ideas are great. So you're understanding the grammar and you've got the right idea, because if the idea is not great, then the language won't be great anyway. But if the idea is great, then we can just fix the vocabulary and the language to match the beautiful idea. But the ideas are the most important thing, really. Well done. Lucky last, Andy.
Although ecotourism has become popular, there are many local communities where it has not been implemented yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, where it has
not been implemented.
Good. And why do you think it hasn't been implemented?
Maybe it's more expensive, or they don't have the knowledge to do it.
Yeah, good. So, yep, absolutely right. I'm just thinking we could knock in here our bit about ramifications. So there are many local communities where it has not been implemented yet because there are concerns about the negative economical ramifications, or there are concerns about the environmental ramifications. So that could easily jump in there. But this is a great sentence nonetheless. And because she has local communities. So again, topic on topic, passive voice, which is great as well. But we'll talk about that a bit more later. But yeah, that's definitely a good one. Good job. Any questions, everybody? Okay, I'm going to encourage just a 5-minute brain break. I think they're important. So yeah, just 5 minutes, get a cup of tea, stretch, just make sure you get away from your computer, and I'll meet you back in 5 minutes. Okay. All right. Take a good break, everybody. Okay, everybody, we back? Just turn your cameras on when you come back for me. Beautiful. Okay, that's right. That's better with the window shut. Okay, I just want to turn off some background noise. Okay. Just give Kritika and Jem one more minute. And Elena. Okay. All right, so if you are back, just pop on your cameras again for me and let's get into it. Okay, so we looked at the although sentence and we're now going to look at the passive sentence. So these two grammatical structures are important for us when we're writing our conclusion. So to write a conclusion, we have a two-sentence model that we use, and it's just called R and R. Jace, do you know what the R and R mean? Have you been taught that before?
I think restate is one of them.
Yep.
And restate and retell? No.
Good try, good try. Restate and recommendation. So a recommendation for the future. Okay, so there's two sentence models. So sentence 1 and sentence 2. Sentence 1 is restate, you know, your arguments, and then number 2 is a recommendation moving forward. So when we use our grammatical structures, although will be used for the restate, and the second, the recommendation, will use what we call passive voice for the recommendation. Okay. All right, just before moving forward, what's another word for kill?
Decimated.
Decimated.
Good. And what's another word for effects?
Ramifications.
Beautiful. Good. Just recapping on that. Okay. So with grammar, we have, you know, simple, compound, complex, and compound complex. And then we also have what we call the verb formations. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and this is why English can be so challenging for people, because you know, we have a lot of different forms of the verb, and I know that some subcontinent languages just have one verb, and it means past, and it means present, and it means future, and then you learn English, and you know, we just make it all really too difficult. So we have, you know, the present, sorry, the past, the present, and the future verbs, and we have those in simple form. Then we have them in continuous form. Then we have them in present perfect form. And then we have them in past present perfect form. Okay, so I'm not going to go too deep into that, but these are all active sentences. Now, then just to make it, you know, that's 12 different forms of the verb. And then to make it even more complicated, we do all of those in passive. Yeah. So now you have a total of 24 forms of the English verb. And so that's probably why, you know, you're wondering what the hell is going on when you get to advanced. You're like, oh my God, this is, you know, getting all too much. The good news is that most of the language sits in about 60% of the verbs. So you don't really come across the more complicated ones too often, except if you're reading a certain novel, then you will come across those verbs. And the good news is that in essay writing, the verbs are usually in simple. So that's the good news. Simple active, and then of course simple passive. Any questions so far? Okay, so let's have a look at that. Now, Andy, could you read sentence number 1 for me, please?
The man killed the president.
Good. Okay, so what is the subject of that sentence?
The man.
The man. And what is the verb of that sentence?
Killed.
Killed. Good. And object of the verb is?
The president.
The president. Beautiful. So that one is in active voice. There are reasons why we use passive, not just to change it for fun. There are reasons. One of those reasons we use active is because the action is more important than the doer. Okay, so the action is more important than the person who does the action, because we don't really care who the man is, do we? The main thing is like, oh my God, the president is dead. So that's the action is more important than the doer. So we take the object and we make it the subject, because the subject is always the most important part of the sentence. The president, and we turn it into passive. So simple. This verb here is in what tense?
Past tense.
Simple past. Yeah, good. So to turn that into passive, we use was plus the present perfect, which is killed. Okay, we can put the agent, but we don't really need it and we don't really care. So the president was killed. So like a newspaper articles are always usually in passive. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So when you're writing your recommendations are really actions, you know, what you want to happen. So you need something to happen. So it's not people should recycle, it's recycling should be prioritized, something like that. I'll come back to that. Number 2, please, Kritika. Could you read that sentence?
The girl stole the wallet.
The girl stole the wallet. The second reason why And this is interesting because I've seen non-native speakers learn this one very quickly when the time is right. The second reason why we use it is to avoid responsibility. Okay, so someone's trying to get out of something. So first of all, let's change it to passive. What's the subject of the sentence?
The girl.
The girl. What's the verb?
The stole is verb.
Stole is the verb. Good. And stole what?
The wallet.
The wallet. So
Object.
the subject, verb, and the object. What tense is the verb in?
Stole. It's the second form of the verb. Past.
Which is?
Past.
Correct, past simple. So to turn past simple into passive, we add was plus
Stolen.
the present participle, stolen.
Stolen.
Okay. Beautiful. So then we take the object, make it the subject.
The wallet was stolen.
Good. The wallet was stolen by the girl, which is not important. We can get rid of it. So what happens is, for example, my nephew will come home and say to his mum, "Mommy, you know, the vase is broken. The vase was broken," instead of saying, "Mum, I broke the vase." Okay, so he puts it into passive, which takes him away, which makes it avoiding responsibility. And I have heard non-native speakers do that very naturally with their homework. So instead of saying, "I did not do my homework," they'll say, "Miss T, you know, the homework's not done." So, which is really interesting how we learn because I didn't teach them that at the time. So yes, avoiding responsibility is another reason why we use passive. Okay. The next one is, can you read number 3 for me, please, Jace? Mr. Ong, are you there? And Jem and Alina, are you guys back yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
Beautiful. Can you read the third one, please?
The government implemented the new policy.
Good. The government implemented the policy. Okay. So the other reason why we use passive is because the result is the focus. Okay, so the result is the focus. So what's the result in this sentence? Is it the government or the new policy?
New policy.
The new policy. So that is our main focus. So we take the new policy, we make it the subject.
Yeah, new policy was implemented by the government.
Good. The new policy was implemented by the government. Beautiful. Good. Good. And then the last one, please, Jace, if you're back, could you read number 4 for me, please? If not, could I please ask Andy to read number 4?
The pandemic decimated the tourism industry.
Good. And again, the result is more the focus than the subject. So can you change that for me? Take the subject, the object, make it the subject.
Yeah, the tourism industry
Was decimated.
Was decimated by the pandemic.
Beautiful. Okay. Now, the good thing about passive voice, and the reason why I advocate for it to be in the conclusion, is the examiners are looking for it. So when we see a passive voice is really a 7+ grammar structure. It's not easy. As you can imagine, you have to learn all these verbs first before we go into passive. So when they see it, it's very noticeable. Now, so what I'm trying to do with the conclusion is make that conclusion a real strong come home. So you can forget about passive voice while you're writing because you're focusing on your ideas and your construction and your TIE. But when you get to the conclusion, you know that you're going to be able to put in that last punch, that real strong passive voice, bring it home, tick the box, okay? Because I'll just go over the 2 sentences again for the conclusion. So Jem, I think you might have missed this one. So Kritika will tell us what those 2 sentences are in the conclusion again, please.
It's the recommendation.
What's the first one? The first one is?
Or the rephrase, restatement.
Good. Restate, which we use although for. And the second one?
Is recommendation.
Which we use passive.
Passive.
Okay. Because you can see that you're going to be talking about results. So you know, an action is more important or a result. So there's always a situation where you can have a passive in the conclusion. All right. So you write all your essay, and then when you get to the conclusion, R and R, although, R1 although, R2 passive voice. Does that make sense, Jem?
Yes.
Would you like me to? Yes. Good. So Andy, what are the 2 sentences we bring home with?
With the conclusion, you said the restate and recommendation.
Beautiful. Elena, what are the 2 sentences we bring home with? If you're not back, could I jump to Jason? Jason, if you're not back, could I jump to Kritika?
Yep. First restate and second is recommendation.
Good.
So
And back
restate
to
starts
Jem.
with although and recommendation always in passive.
Beautiful. And Jem, could you repeat that for us, please? How do we do a conclusion? What are the 2 sentences?
First one, restate. Second one, recommendation.
Good.
The first one with although. Second one, we use it with passive voice.
Beautiful. Good. So let's practice some passive voices. Okay. Good. All right, I'll write them on the board, the first half, and I want you to finish the second half of the sentence. Sorry, I'll write the sentence on the board and I want you to, it's active and you need to change it into passive, okay? I'll just put G for government, yes, rather than write the whole thing. 2 more minutes, everybody. Is that enough time? Just turn your camera on if you're back at your seat so I can see where we're at, who I'm working with. Jem, you don't have a camera?
Okay, I have.
Is that okay? Just so I can manage the class a bit better. Thank you. Good. All right. So it looks like you're all finished, or 1 more minute. I can see Andy's finished. Maybe 1 more minute. Okay. Critique is finished. Jem, you finished?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. All right. Let's move on then. Okay, Jace, could you do the first one for us, please?
Okay, the government pays for the metropolitan infrastructure in order to decimate the congestion during peak hours.
Sure. Okay, so I know that you got back a little bit late. What we're doing is we're turning it into passive voice. So I'll get the others to do it, and then you
Okay,
can
all right.
see what we're doing.
Okay.
That's okay. Andy, number 1, please.
Okay, the government pays for the metropolitan infrastructure. And passive, the metropolitan infrastructure is paid by the government.
Beautiful. Is paid. Well done. And Jem, could you do number 2, please?
Yes. Several buildings were knocked down by the explosion.
Well done. Were. Good. I'm really glad that you got that, picked that up, because it's buildings were knocked down. Beautiful. And Kritika.
The teacher marked all the essays online. All the essays online were marked by the teacher.
Beautiful. And you've picked that up as well. Were marked. And Jace, did you want to try the last one?
Okay, the payment has been refunded by Apple.
Good. Yeah. So this one's just
Were refunded
because
were
it's
refunded by Apple. Yeah.
correct. You've done present perfect passive,
Yeah.
which is okay as well.
Okay.
But this one really was this one. Okay, now the next thing is that when we write a recommendation, there's a modal verb that we need to use. Does anyone have a guess what that modal, what are some modal verbs?
Should,
Good.
And so, but
may.
Yep.
and so, but
That they're conjunctions. They're a little bit
Conjunctions, sorry.
different. Yeah, that's okay.
Should, might,
Exactly.
may,
So what is the best modal verb to make a recommendation? What is your
should,
Yes, exactly. Yes. So we need to put should into passive voice. Okay. So we still use passive, but we have to add the should. For example, okay. The government should pay for public transport. Okay, so I take the object and I make it the subject. Public transport plus should
be
plus be plus
paid by the government.
good, paid for, preposition, paid for by the government. Okay, so should plus be plus past participle. So it's modal verb, modal plus be plus what we call the past participle form of the verb. Okay. Okay, so I'll just throw a couple around and let's see how we go. Andy, the teacher should mark all the essays on time. Can you put that into
I need to
passive
put
for me?
in Okay. All the essays should be marked on time.
Beautiful. Good. Kritika. Everyone should recycle plastic bags.
Plastic bags should be recycled by everyone.
Good, good. Jem. Apple should refund the payments.
Payments should be refunded by Apple.
Good, refunded. Remember,
Refunded.
yeah, past participle. And Jason, I just had another one. I forgot it. I just lost it. Okay, so the company should repair the faulty phone.
So the company should repair the faulty phone.
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Can you change that one?
Okay. The faulty phone should be repaired by the company.
Beautiful. Good. And Andy, one more, a couple more. The government should create job opportunities for young people.
Opportunities for young people should be created by the government.
Well done. Good. Kritika. Teachers should pay more attention to curriculum.
Can you please repeat the sentence?
Yes, yes. Teachers should give more attention is the verb, actually, give more attention. Teachers should give more attention to curriculum.
More attention should be paid by the teacher for curriculum.
Again, I absolutely understand what you would say, but I wouldn't say it like that. So take the object and make it the subject. What's the object?
The curriculum.
Good. Put it as the subject. The curriculum plus should plus be plus
the curriculum should be paid proper attention by the teacher.
good. Given more attention by the
Given
teacher.
more attention by the teacher.
That's fine. Absolutely fine. Governments should implement more legislation.
The legislation should be implemented more by governments.
Well done. And Jace, last one. Students should pack up their tents properly. I spent the weekend repacking those tents.
Okay, students should repack
the tents properly. Students should pack the tents properly.
Students should pack the tents properly. The tents should be packed properly by the students.
Good, well done. Yes. Just a little inside joke there from the camp. The boys packed up the tent and it was anyway.
Yes, I understand. Yep. It was pretty windy that day.
110 kilometers per hour, gusts of winds 110 kilometers. It was like the tent was like
It was at night.
Yes, it was very crazy. Anyway, good job. Now let's get to work. Okay, I'll screen share and we'll write a conclusion. Excuse me, everybody. Shifting gears here. So just logging into the portal, just let me know if the screen's all clear. IELTS preparation.
Yes.
And this week is transport, as I mentioned. Going down here to grammar. So there's just the notes from today. If you need to refresh the notes, they're all there. And heading down here to conclusion. This is an assignment, so we'll knock it off now. Okay, Jem, could you read the introduction, please?
Over the past few decades, traffic congestion has dramatically increased.
Sorry.
Nowadays, we can see buses, trams, trains, and personal vehicles all on the same highways. This essay will discuss some of the causes of congestion and suggest some solutions to manage the problem.
Okay, so can you guys see my whiteboard at the same time?
Very small.
Very small. Okay, so I think I have to stop sharing to do that. Yeah, okay, I'll come back. Thank you. Kritika, could you read the first paragraph, please?
Over the past, there are various reasons why globally traffic has increased in towns and cities. The most significant one is having a car is affordable for average income earners. For example, a person who works at Coles Market may earn around $40,000 per annum, and this may allow him or her to own a car. However, if the average income earner earns below this amount, they may only be able to buy daily necessary items, but not a private vehicle.
Okay, so what type of essay is this? It's a hybrid. It's a combination of two different ones.
Problem solution and
Both?
advantage and disadvantages.
Okay, sorry, we didn't read the question. That probably makes sense. Andy, can you read the question, please?
In cities and towns all over the world, the high volume of traffic is a problem. What are the causes of this and what action can be taken to solve this problem?
Okay, so in the first paragraph, what do we have to talk about? The first body paragraph.
The cause.
Causes, beautiful. And the second paragraph?
The solutions.
Yes, so it's a hybrid, cause and effect, problems and solutions. So it's a combination of the causes and solutions. So be careful of this one because a lot of people will write about the problem and that is off task. So this is a very common hybrid. Okay, so what in this essay is the cause? What do they say is the cause of increased traffic?
Because most of the people can afford one car.
Yep, it's affordable. Beautiful. Okay, and Jason, could you read the second body paragraph, please?
Although the situation is serious, there are various ways to solve the problem before it is too late. Firstly, implementing driving taxes, especially during peak hours, is one possible solution to keep cars off the road. Keeping cars off the road is important because it also reduces pollution. Secondly, governments should consider implement strict tax regulations. The roads may end up dangerous and too busy to use. For instance, in Sydney, when people cross the harbour bridge at 8 in the morning, it can take 1 to 2 hours, and as a result, a lot of people take the train to work.
Good. Okay, so that there's a little bit of grammar mistakes in there, but I don't want to get distracted by that. What is some of the solutions?
Strict tax regulations.
Good. Tax regulations. Yeah. Okay.
Driving
Beautiful.
taxes.
Yep. And it goes into driving taxes. Okay, so what we what we want to do now is put this into our conclusion. Okay, so with our conclusion, we can start with, you know, obviously in conclusion, there's no, that's fine. Although it may seem, comma, seem that, ... comma, and full stop. So as we said, what's more important, one or two in the although sentence? Second one. So in this one, the solutions are going to be more powerful. So we want to paraphrase or rephrase, restate what we've said here. Okay. So does that make sense? Do you think you can try to make that sentence for me?
I'm trying mentally.
Let's pop that one in the chat and let's have a look at some of those. Yeah. Grammatically correct, yes. Yeah, that's fine. Just I'm thinking yeah, that's fine. I'll leave it at that. I won't bother that one up.
Oh, sorry, put still some tax regulation. That's
still, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to just write up the plan for an essay that we pretend has been written, and we'll start to write a conclusion for that one. So let's say public transport, the advantages and disadvantages. What's some advantages of public transport? Maybe for the individual?
Save time.
Yep. So oh, because you're not stuck in traffic, I guess. Yeah, save time. And maybe for on a global level? Public transport? Environmental level?
Yeah, avoid pollution.
Yeah, reduce pollution. Yeah. And what about the disadvantages? On an individual level?
Harming the environment.
Try not to just do the opposite, because you're fighting against yourself then. So just, yeah, what's a disadvantage on an individual level? Do you like public transport? No, I don't either. Yeah, which is not great, because I know that the environment is better off if I like it, but maybe for me there's a lack of infrastructure. So where I live, if I want to go to the city, it will take me, you know, I have to change to, I have to get a bus, I have to walk quite a far way, then I have to get a bus, then I have to get a train, and yeah, lack of infrastructure. And then maybe on a disadvantage on a global level, on a more of an nice, Elena. Well done. Yeah, been quietly listening there. So it reduces pollution. Maybe, okay, maybe it, in order to create more public transport systems, we have to destroy or decimate you know, certain environments, because they, you know, they want the train to go right through the, you know, the Dandenong forest. So perhaps it destroys, it can destroy local communities or parks. So you imagine that we've already argued all this, and now we just want to bring it home with our 2 sentences. Okay, so this one will go in although, and then of course you have to have your recommendation too. What do you want them to do? What do you think we should do? Okay, 2 sentences for me, please. Okay, let's have a look at these. Yeah. In conclusion. Okay, so just, I know that the first one we just did one sentence, but these should be two separate sentences. So, didn't mean to do that. So although and you want to try to, if you can, avoid just using generic, you want to touch on your actual ideas.
One of them.
Yeah. So although it may seem that public transport saves us time and reduces pollution, comma, the lack of infrastructure and the fact that it destroys local communities cannot be ignored. Okay. Seeing that. That's sentence one, and then sentence two, in the future, adequate public Okay, so there's the 2-sentence model. Jem, could you read the first sentence for me, please? Although it may seem public transport saves time.
Where I'm gonna read, just I couldn't find it
In the chat.
in the chat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who written down?
I'll share my screen. Okay, this one here.
Okay. In cities and towns all over the world, the high volume of traffic is a problem. What are the causes of this and what action can be taken?
Sorry, I'm sharing the wrong, it's not sharing my chat. Okay, it doesn't share that screen. So can you see can you see where the chat is here? Chat box?
No, is on your screen. You want to show me?
No, well, I want to show you where it is, but it's you've got it. So you chat to me. Where's my chat back to you? Can you see my reply?
No, I couldn't find it.
So when you chat, where do you put the chat in?
Just, I think I put the general, everyone.
Yeah, so that there should be I've replied to everybody, from me to everyone. It's okay. I'll just put it on a Word document. Okay, so you can see the Word document?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, okay. Now read that, please. Yep. Can you read that out for me, please, Jim?
Yeah. Although it may seem public transport saves time and helps to reduce pollution, lack of infrastructure and the negative ramifications on local communities cannot be ignored. In the future, adequate public transport networks should be built.
Okay, so that's the 2-sentence structure. So that's what it looks like. Just take a quick photo of that, everybody. I just want to wrap it up for today. Okay, just like I said on last week, what is the most important day of the classes?
Thursday.
Thursday is the most important day. Okay, so it's really important that after the end of after the end of the week, that you guys have to do the work. So it's great that you're all attending classes. Thumbs up. But the Thursday is where it really is your testing day to see how much you've taken in, where the confusion is, where the mistakes are. And it gives me a chance to look at them more deeply. So it's like, I always think about teaching is like the gym. So, you know, if I'm a trainer and you come to the gym and I write down the diet and I write down the exercises and I say, go away. I have no control over whether you've done them or followed them or maybe you're doing them wrong and you're hurting your body. Maybe you're cooking the food wrong and you're actually doing damage. So it's really important that on Thursday, we come together and you start to do those exercises and you start to cook and eat the food, and I can watch every little single step of the way. So save your energy for Thursday. They're not easy because it's time for you to sort of, start to self-direct. But my job is to make you sort of stay. So if you log in on Thursday, you need to be committed to the 2 hours. So unless you have to go to work or unless you are having a baby, they're the two reasons you can leave. And in that case, you just tell me. But if you log in on Thursday, and you should log in on Thursday, you need to settle in for the good 2 hours, because I promise you, at the end of that 2 hours, you will feel like you've had a good workout, and you'll feel like you come out of the gym. When you come out of the gym, you feel great. And, you come to the gym going, oh, I don't want to be here. I hate this. I don't want to do these exercises and I hate this food. But at the end of it, you always feel good because you've achieved something and you're one step better than when you started the workout. Okay. Capiche? All right, everybody.
Yes.
My job is to try to keep you entertained and motivated throughout that 2 hours. So I will do my best, but I need, it's a partnership. We're working together. Any questions or comments from today, please?
Yeah, actually, I have a question. I couldn't find any writing task onto the system. Will you add any writing tool task onto system for this week? Because I'm going to write some essay. Maybe we can have a look later on.
Yeah, so my recommendation for this week would just to be concentrate on conclusions. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to just jump on the internet, find any questions at all, and then just write the map, and then just give me conclusions using restate and recommendation. Just those two sentences. That's the powerful punch at the end. It's 25% of your marks because it's it's right 25% of your essay. So I just want that one perfect. And then once that one's perfect, then we can then we sort of start to put it all together. But yeah, that's what we've trained today. So that's what I want you to keep exercising, just that part. And I don't care what question, it doesn't matter what question and things like that. Where to put them if you want me to check them. And again, Thursday is a great day for me to check, because there's two ways we can do feedback. One, I can send you feedback, which is great, but the more powerful approach to feedback is where I can interact with you and get you doing it right there and then. And this is something I discovered probably about 4 years into teaching. So I was teaching, had 6 or 7 students, and I was teaching essay. And at the end of the day, we'd done a 3 or 4 hour class. I taught everything, you know everything now, go away, you should be fine. And one student said, I've got the test on the weekend. Can I stay here and do some work? And for 4 hours, I just drilled him. So he just came back, do it again, fix this, do it again, do it again, do it again. And that student went from 5.5 to 7.5, okay, in his writing. And that's when I thought, oh my God, this is magic. There's something in that teaching method that's really powerful. And so I've always had the TSI on Thursday ever since that day. So they're called teacher-student interaction, where I sort of shut up and I start to interact with your writing. And ever since then, I mean, the results of the students has, dramatically lifted. So that was a long time ago. So this method is obviously powerful. So my point is, upload your writing. And then on Thursday, when you come to class, I can go through with you word by word, sentence by sentence, grammatical structure by grammatical structure. And it's really, it's great for the student, of course, but as a teacher, it's really effective because it lets me understand your strengths and your weaknesses at a level which I can't do if I'm just teaching. So I need to know all of you very individually, and I need to know all of your weaknesses and your strengths very, because we're working at a deep level too. You know, the higher you get in English, the deeper we're working. So it's not like subject, verb, object, yep, correct. You know, it's like, well, you know, this tiny little thing should be changed here, and why did you think that? And so so it's a bit different. So put your writing in so that you have it somewhere, which is absolutely important. I'll just show you where to put it. But my point is Thursday is when I will give the feedback on that. Once I'm confident that you can write on your own and do it by yourself, and you're just, you know, reproducing high quality of writing, that's when, you know, you start submitting essay after essay. Okay.
Yes.
All right, IELTS preparation. Yeah, so just in here, so just, yeah, module 4, down to essay, this one here, writing conclusions, and then just you can submit, this is different because I'm the teacher, but you can put, you know, 3-4 conclusions there using the same formula, and that's what I would like to see this week. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. You guys have got my mobile number. If you have any questions, just text them. You'll get a quicker response with a text. But otherwise, are you happy with today's class, everybody?
Yep.
Okay.
Good. All right.
You.
I'm happy with your progress. You're free to go or free to stay. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have more
Thank
questions.
you.
Otherwise, you are free to go. Thank you, everybody.
Teacher, I just need to
you.
ask one question.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Yes, I'm happy to stay and answer questions. Yes.
Yeah, yesterday I was doing reading and in a computer based. But the thing is, when I check my answers, so if I write like a capital letter, like it was written April, so I just write like first letter capital A, but the answer was like wrong. So I'm confused to write a small letters or the capital letter at the starting.
Is this an our platform or somewhere else?
No, somewhere else.
Yeah, they haven't set up their marking system properly. So yeah, it should be a capital.
Okay, so if it in paragraph, it is written capital word, so we have to also write the capital in the answer, right?
No, you have to follow the English rules. If it's a month, it has to be a capital. If it's not, then it doesn't have to be a capital. But the problem is they haven't, you know, when we create these activities on Moodle, we put different options. So, you know, if it doesn't matter if it's a capital or not, then we put both options. So we put, just say the word is traveler, and it can have a capital or it cannot have a capital depending on the question. So we put both options as the answers. But that person who set up their system hasn't
it
done
was
that.
like a sub school. So we have tried like primary school, secondary school. So like first word should be capital, right?
If it's a pronoun, yeah, if it's used
Yeah.
as a pronoun.
Okay,
yeah.
that's why I'm just a bit confused. So we have to just follow that thing, right?
Yeah, just follow the rules of English and you'll be fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Because you've got to remember, you know, people are just putting stuff together, and yeah, they haven't really, maybe not thought it through. What one are you using? Who are you using?
No, I just like searching and it just pop it up. So I was just trying to practice on the computer based because I'm planning to give like a computer based test instead of paper based.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, just follow the rules of English. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You have a lovely day, Kritika.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.